Hey there, welcome back. In the last video, we talked about what machine learning means. Computers learning from experience instead of being programmed step by step. Now it's time to meet the true superstar of modern AI, the kind of learning responsible for most of what we see today, from recommendation systems to self-driving cars. It is called supervised learning. And once you understand it, a huge part of machine learning will suddenly make perfect sense. So, what does supervised learning really mean? Think about how you learn to recognize fruits as a kid. Someone pointed to a red round thing and said apple, and a yellow curved one and said banana. After seeing enough examples, you started identifying them yourself. That is supervised learning. You show the computer many examples that include both the question or the input and the answer, the output. Over time, the computer figures out the pattern connecting the two. So later, when it only gets the input, it can guess the right answer on its own. It is called supervised because during training, the system learns under the supervision of known answers, just like a student with a teacher marking their homework. Here are a few places you've probably already encountered supervised learning, probably without even realizing it. One is spam detection. You mark emails as spam or not spam, and the algorithm learns to recognize patterns and make that call automatically. Another example is voice assistants. You speak, and the system learns to convert sound waves into text. Or language translation. The computer studies pairs of sentences in two languages and learns how to translate new phrases it has never seen before. A very good example could be self-driving cars. The system learns to spot pedestrians, traffic lights, and lane markings from millions of labeled images. Another very good example is factory quality checks. Cameras inspect products and decide defective or perfect after being trained with countless labeled examples. Basically, different industries, same principle. Input plus the correct output equals experience for the computer. So why companies rely so much on supervised learning? Supervised learning is behind an enormous share of the global AI economy because it directly helps businesses make predictions, and predictions drive profits. For example, online advertising systems use supervised learning to guess which ad you're most likely to click on. The algorithm looks at things like your browsing history, time of day, and ad content to predict, will this person click? Every correct prediction earns money, earns real money. And when scaled across millions of users, it adds up really fast. Let's look at a simple example. Let's make this one a concrete one. Imagine you want to predict the price of a car based on details like its mileage, year, brand, and engine size. You collect data from hundreds of cars, where each one has both an input, those car features, and the output, its selling price. You feed all that information into your learning algorithm. After studying enough examples, the algorithm starts to understand patterns like cars with fewer miles usually cost more, or newer models tend to have higher prices, or some brands keep their value better than others. Once trained, the model can take a brand new car it has never seen before, say a 2018 sedan with 40,000 miles, and predict a pretty good estimate of its price. That is supervised learning in action. The algorithm learns the mapping from car details or the inputs or the features to price which is the target or the output, by studying real data. Supervised learning comes in two main flavors, depending on the type of answer you want. First flavor is regression. When you want to predict a number, you use regression. For example, predicting the price of a car, the temperature tomorrow, or how many sales you will make next week or next month or next year. The second flavor is called classification. You use it when you want to predict a category. For example, is this an SUV or a sedan? Is this spam or not spam? Basically, regression gives you how much, and classification gives you which one. Now, let's look at how it all fits together. Here is the general recipe for supervised learning. Gather examples where both inputs and outputs are known. Let your algorithm learn the relationship between them. Test it with new inputs to see how well it predicts unseen answers. It's basically like a student studying with an answer key and then taking a test without it. Now, let's wrap up what we talked about. Supervised learning means teaching computers by showing examples that include the correct answers. It powers most real-world AI systems, from cars to chatbots. A lot of applications. It comes in two forms: regression, which is predicting numbers, and classification, which is predicting categories. In our next video, we will zoom in on classification and explore how machines learn to make decisions like yes or no, cat or dog, safe or unsafe. Until then, keep experimenting and stay curious, because the best way to understand how machines learn is to train one yourself. See you in the next lesson.